Hello, what do I want with this video? Right now, hover blades apply their force along a static line, and I would like them to apply the force around the middle. If you have a short look at these lovely drawings I just made, what happens right now is you have a function in the middle of your movement parts. Blue circles are hover blades. So what happens is the game draws a line between your leftmost and rightmost hover blades and finds the middle. It further draws a line between your frontmost and rearmost hover, finds the middle, and that way it finds your geometric middle of your movement paths. So adding any other hover blades anywhere around here would matter, but it's only about the leftmost, the rightmost, the frontmost, and the rearmost. After it's done with that, when you try to move with your hover blades, it by the way applies to legs as well. When you try to turn, the force will be applied only to the right or only to the left, and that is indicated by those green lines here. Now I would like to have it like here on the third little picture, so perpendicular to a connection to the middle. So like those green lines indicate. Of course, if you move forward and turn, would be the sum of the force forward and the force which is indicated by that green line. That is what's happening right now. Advantages are it makes Minecraft possible. It makes building crafts more intuitive, as you will see in a second. You don't have to think about front and back behaving parts. Maybe some of you don't do it right now. However, sometimes you build a craft and it just doesn't behave the way it's supposed to behave. That is very likely because of front-back behavior. It would enable a craft to still turn instead of strafe when damaged. This applies to hovers and legs. It doesn't need a big amount of coding. However, I'm not a coder, so my opinion doesn't really matter that much on that. It does not change the existing crafts in any negative way, and you don't need dynamic updates right now. There aren't any dynamic updates on how your movement parts take input, and it would stay like that. And now let's go into a bit more detail. Let's turn around. Oh, how foolish. I just edited my legs in a way that I thought looked nice. Of course, I should connect them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because now my legs are front behaving legs. Oh, let's turn around. Looks nicer. Hello. I want to talk a bit about a problem the hover mechanics have right now. Our little example craft here, yeah, I drew a few errors. We have our example craft here, the middle of the craft is the red cube here, and my general input would be the D key, as in I'm trying to move to the right. As we probably all know, the hovers which are in the front, those two, this one and that one, will try to go to the right, and those here in the back will try to go to the left, and therefore I turn. The torque is of course a product of your leverage and your force. I hope I have the terms right here. Now my force will always be the same because I'm using tier 2 hovers for everything. However, my leverage would now be those 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. Actually, there's half a cube, there's half a cube, so it would be 5 cubes. Yes, it would be 5 cubes. So I do have a good amount of leverage, I have force, and I turn, everything's fine. If I only have those hovers, I have a bit of a problem now. My leverage would only be one block, so from the middle of that one to the middle of that one block. And my force is still the same as before, so I've got only 1/5 of the torque I had before. Reason is, those hovers still only try to move to the right, and those only try to move to the left. Of course, it would be a lot more torque if I had the same leverage. So this would lead to a very nice turning speed. If it was like that, I would have the same turning speed as I would have by having hovers in the front and in the back. Let's have a look at the turn speed. It's lovely when reality reflects theory. If I lose thrusters in the front and in the back, my turning speed is reduced by a lot. Then again, shouldn't a damaged robot behave damaged? Well, now I have a problem. All the hover blades which are remaining are front hovers, front behaving hovers, and therefore they will all try to go to the right when I use my D key and want to go to the right. Now, if all of those want to go to the right, I will strafe. I won't turn. And that is a problem. And of course it applies for legs as well. It's a problem for legs and for hovers. I think we all already had a situation in a game where we wanted to turn, where we wanted to move around in a more or less normal way, but you can't do that if you have only front hovers or front legs, or of course only rear legs or rear hovers. I made a post about half a year ago on this, and I'm just going to use the pictures from that post. Here we see the hover with the hover blades in the front and in the back. The green line indicates my force. Force applied here is to the right, force applied down here is applied to the left. If you want to find out how much torque you have in a geometrical way, what to do is to just connect the middle to where the force applied. That would be this red line. Draw another red line which is perpendicular to the first red line, and which goes through the end of this vector. And then you just draw a perpendicular connection between the red lines, and you have this yellow line. The length of my yellow line is directly proportional to the magnitude. So I've got a nicely long yellow line. In fact, the yellow line is almost as long as my green line. Everything's fine here. Now, if I have my hover blades more to the left and to the right, and not front and bottom, front and rear, if I do the same, I would see that my torque is much smaller. The yellow line is much shorter, especially if you see the green line and compare to the yellow line, you see that's really short. Now what I would do, again, I draw a line from my middle to where the force applied, and perpendicular to that I would apply my force. That way I'll have a maximum of magnitude. In fact, now my green line and my yellow line, if I drew that in here, green line and yellow line would now have the same length. I'm trying to get the magnitude, trying to get the biggest amount of torque out of my force. What happens if I lose hovers? In the old case, I would still have those hovers only applying force to the left. And the new version, I would have force applied to the left and towards my rear. And I would have force applied here to the left and to the front, and that would lead to a rotation.
Emotions, gameplay, video editing. What? Gotcha!